So, good evening. We have a wonderful evening to relax ourselves and feeding our minds and thoughts how we shall combat with this COVID-19. This evening we have two speakers. Circle Inspector of Police Somasekhar. He will be speaking to us on government regulations and police role to contain COVID-19. And also fitness and nutrition coach Yaspal. He will be speaking to us how to fight the virus by correcting our lifestyle and boosting our immunity. So the session will be moderated by our director, Father Matthew. I now hand over the time to Father. Over to you, Father, please.
Good evening, friends. We have two wonderful people. They are great friends of Ecumenical Christian Center, Circle Inspector Somasekhar and the nutrition wellness expert Yashpal. We came to know Somasekhar through some cases, and then we became a great family friend, and he is a great friend of ECC. And I also found that he's also a person who is into great relationship, who can go deeper into the social way of conducting interactions. Probably always my idea is a police officer will be always serious faced, but in him I found that, you know, a very pleasant and a man of great justice and a person of aesthetics. More than his friendship and his smile, but also he's an artist. He plays the flute. This is, I think, something extraordinary with Somasekhar, and Somasekhar will be speaking later for us about the government regulations and the police role to contain COVID-19. And then we will begin with Yashpal. Yashpal is also a person of very interesting characteristics. He is into physical wellness. He has a master's degree into biotechnology, and he is also into nutrition. And he keeps always, you know, how through the nutrition we can strengthen our immunity and control all kinds of diseases. So this is, I think, something very important for us. And Yashpal will be speaking to us on how to fight the virus by correcting your lifestyle and boosting your immunity. So we all have lots of problems with our immunity and also the lifestyle problems, and we welcome both Yashpal and Circle Inspector Somasekhar to our midst. Great. So I hand over to Yashpal to speak on how to boost our immunity and to correct our lifestyle. Please, Yashpal.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Okay, let me start sharing the screen for you guys. Okay. Let me share it. Yeah. Okay, good evening, everyone. So this is a holistic wellness coach, Yash here. Today we'll have a little bit of a problem-solving content in my this presentation and speak. I want to start the evening with a tagline called "Health is Wealth." Today, if you have health, you can enjoy your wealth, right? And there's one more I use every time, every bite you take, either you're fighting your disease or you're feeding it. So I'll make you understand this in our later slides. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we all know that we are going through the big crisis. It is started in November in 2019 in China, and now it is in India, and we have all been like facing this lockdown and a lot of restrictions and everything. So whole thing is, the point is here, how we naturally get our immune system strong to fight this. Everybody is more concerned about their health. Everybody is more concerned about their spouse, brother, sisters, family, parents, father and mother. Okay, we don't want to get infected. First of all, everybody is like, no, I don't want to get infection. What if I get infected? What will happen to me? Will I go to people take me to the quarantine place? Will I get treatment there? What happens next? Everybody is worried. So I have some solution for it by asking few questions to everyone. So how much health plays a major role in this COVID-19 outbreak? How many of us really respect our health? How many of us? Right? Raise your hands. Right? Yeah. Right? If you respect our health, then we need to ask ourselves a question. Okay, when was your last alcohol? So when was your last cold drinks? When was your last bread, biscuit, pasta, noodle cereal? When was all your processed foods? Because it's how we affect our health. And there's one more quote I say: the health is not valued until sickness comes. This comes with all my students. Till I've been keep mentoring them, they keep cheating around everything. And once they, oh no, yes, I got this. Yes, I got this. Now I'm diabetic. I'm BP. I'm hypertension. That's why I'm telling, nobody is value about the health until they get the sickness, right? So we need to start respecting what God gives us. In this, we have only one life. We cannot abuse. We don't need to abuse our life. You have to respect what God has given, right? The next we go. This is a commonly I ask the question whenever I give a small seminar topics and everything. How many of you in your family have a below health condition? Please raising the hands. Diabetic, then hypertension, obesity, overweight, right? Then irritable bowel syndrome, poor gut health that comes with, then thyroid, PCOD, and then cardiac disease. This is being generally in everybody's family, one or the other person is suffering from it. Hope you agree with me. Say hi.
Yes, yes.
Hi. Okay, agree with me. Say hi. Right. So now the next point is, what do you guys think? Why are we getting this, such kind of a diseases? Is it because of a wrong lifestyle? If it's yes, it's in our hand, we can correct it. Is it because of wrong food habits? Yes, it is in our hand, we can correct it. Is it because of pollution? It's not in our hand, right? And sedentary lifestyle? Yes, it is in our hand. We should keep moving. We should keep moving. We cannot sit in one place, morning till the night, right? Okay, next point is, I just want to talk about something about this disease, how it spreads. Okay, I'll just brief this. COVID-19 spreads mainly by droplets produced as a result of coughing or sneezing of COVID-19 infected person. This can happen in two ways. Direct close contact, one can get from infection being in close contact with COVID-19 patient within 1 meter of infected person, especially if they don't cover their face while coughing and sneezing with the kerchief or with the mask. Okay, now the indirect contact, the droplets survive on the surface of cloths for many days. Therefore, the touching of any of the infected surfaces, cloths or a steel or a table, chair, mobile, hand keys, or bike keys, car keys, whenever you go to the shopping, the trolleys, this is the indirect way of getting infected. This where place the virus spreads without our without even we are knowing. Okay, this is very deadly. This, and next I want to speak about R naught value. What is R naught value? It is also referred as a reproduction number. As an infection is transmitted to a new people, it produces itself by R naught, tells us the average number of the people who will contact with the contagious diseases from one person to with a deceased person. So in COVID-19, that means if a one person get a disease, he will spread to 2.5 people in a day. So this is little bit worry to us, because here the one more point is say about, I give my example. For example, I met a friend who is previously got infected by someone, but there is no symptoms. It's called as asymptomatic. He doesn't have symptom, but he's already infected in the previous day. I met this person. Maybe I went to his house. I had a cup of coffee with him, or maybe he came to my house. He had a cup of coffee with him. Then we had a physical contact. We exchanged our hand keys, or maybe car keys, or a cup of tea, or he sat in the table and he coughed and sneezed without his notice. He's just an asymptomatic patient. Okay, he just doesn't have any symptom, but he's infected in the previous day. Through him, I also got infected. By the time we come to know that we both got infected, we go spread to the surrounding people, friends and families. This is very dangerous with this case, because till you get symptoms, you will be keep spreading to the people. If you go to the morning to buy a milk, you spread there. Then you'll come to buy a vegetables, you spread there. Then you'll come to buy a supermarket to buy a grocery, you spread there. Then you go to your neighbor, friend and family, you spread there. So this is why it shows very major infection rate. Is one person will spread like 2 to 2.5%. This is called an R0 value. And then we come. So I always tell everyone, prevention is better than cure. Let us not wait till we get infection and then suffer from it. Right? Before that, only we'll try to get ourselves covered. And first thing is in COVID-19 is more about fear. People, all media created huge fear, showing this, showing that. It is a normal influenza, but with the highest infection rate, one person to another person. Right. So I just extracted today's report. See, the total cases today is 81,970. It's an Indian report, and the recovered is 27,920. Just focus on recovery. Just focus on recovery. It's more than 30 to 40% recovery rate. That's very good for us. And the fatality rate is 26, like 2,649. And the active cases still is 51,000. I'll show you the next slide. You can see here, confirmed cases is 81,970. Active cases is 51,401. Cured, recovered. This cure again, so many, maybe they went to critical illness. They've taken a treatment and they recovered. Some of them were just tested positive and they were in quarantine and they were recovered. And the people who not supported for the treatment, they expired. So we need to, there are so many categories is there, we need to focus on that. And here again, the WHO is yesterday announced coronavirus could become an endemic like HIV or maybe other diseases, which is there. And it comes and goes, the infection comes and goes, and we have to be double careful, because all this epidemic and all these diseases, it was 100 years back, it was more in 1918, then post. But now it is even WHO is they were not real unsure about it, whether they find a vaccine for it and it's going to work or not, we don't know. So there are even the research institutes, they have said, even a vaccine comes, it might be 70% it work or 30% it may not work. So still research is going on. There are about 90 to 92 companies who are researching on the vaccine. If it comes, it's a blessing for us. If it didn't come on time, it's taking a time, maybe 6 months to 1 year, then it is become our self-responsibility to take care of ourselves, not to burden our government, not to overwhelm our medical infrastructures, not to overwhelm our hospital beds and increase the fatality rates. It is left to us to do a self-caring. Yeah, that's what our even PM is also telling. So prevention of what can we do for the two things I mentioned. One is prevention of exposure to the virus till we get vaccine, or any remedies that we are unsure if it work. Right? Then I discussed about the asymptomatic patients already. Okay, there's one challenging is that if you see the COVID-19 data suggests 80% of infections are mild and asymptomatic. That means 80% of the people like can get cured from a disease without even notice, like in a big this thing. Through asymptomatic only they get infected, they cure themselves by just normal fever or cold or cough. Then 15% are severe infection requiring oxygen, and 5% are critical infections require ventilators. So that's how it's case. So that means 80% are naturally they have a good immunity and they fight these diseases very easily. Then the second point is the first way is to wait for the vaccine or any other things to provided by our WHO or other medical ICMR, all the things. Or is the second option is protection by getting health day by day by developing strong immune system. Okay, we are coming to the point now. Protection by getting healthy day by day by developing our strong immune system. So what is immunity? Immunity is a resistance to the infection after foreign antigen has penetrated the first line of defense. That means the foreign body might be anything. It may be a pathogen, fungus, virus, then microbes, anything. Moment it enters to the body has to protect itself by producing an antibody. When an antigen comes and hits you, and body itself produces a cell-based antibodies called WBCs, and it starts protecting you. Right? In this immunity we have acquired, and other immunities is that I'll discuss later. So ultimately we have to self-protect ourselves. You cannot fix the immunity in 1 or 2 months, which you spoil from many years. A lot of videos are going in the YouTubes and everywhere. Okay, fix your immunity in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. No, it doesn't work like. Immunity is like whole system. There is no magic pill for the immunity. There's no magic pill. You have to build it. You spoiled it from 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And how can it be fixed within 2 months? No, it doesn't work like that. For that, I have made certain protocols to follow for you guys. Get enough sleep, anywhere from 7 to 9 hours per night. Then engage yourself from reading, writing. Then eat a lot of healthy vegetables, fruits, and diet. Then exercise. But I'll go in depth in the next slides. Proper protocol in this. What breaks our immune system? What breaks our immune system? Stress. Prolonged period of intense stress can affect your immune system. Okay, so according to the National Cancer Institute, what is like stress? When you get a stress, you release an hormone called cortisol. So earlier days, when you get, it's called fight and flight mechanism. Earlier days, if you see, very olden days, I'm telling about like 100 years back, people never used to get much stress, or even the body used to go more in a flight mode. Say about if you're going in a forest, if you see the lion, and he started running from the lion, the body suddenly started adrenaline rush and releases the stress hormone called cortisol, and the body is in fight mechanism. Moment he run away from the tiger and he escape from the tiger and go to house, that fight mode will become flight. So that time maybe 10 to 15 minutes. That's all. That time. So that means he got a stress only for about that 10 to 15 minutes. Remaining 23 hours, 45 minutes is in very normal condition. But here in 21st generation, moment from the morning till the night, we're going through a lot of stress. Moment we get up in the morning, see the mobile, see the WhatsApp message, we get stress. Are you with me? Moment we get the stress. The same way, office stress, career stress, then financial stress, the family stress, the kids stress, everything. The boss calls you another way on the phone, then you get stressed. Moment you get inside the car, you see the traffic, you get stressed. We go through, from morning till the night, we go through stress. Then the loneliness and the fear. Right? Last 90 days, if I remember, 70 to 80% of Indian population, the world population going through the fear. Oh my God, I don't know what will happen. I will not send my kid to the school. I will not send my husband to the office. I will not send anyone outside the house. I will not send anybody. I will not invite anybody inside the house. The fear. and then this secondary lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, then too much of exercise. The people comes to the gym and they say, I've done 2 hours of workout, 3 hours of workout. No, this also hamper your immunity. Then the smoke, nicotine, then ultraviolet radiation, then the very poor diets, then the alcohol. These are all the things which will weaken your immune system in daily basis. If you start indulging all this in daily basis, you will. Okay. Then this topic I wanted to discuss, because still its discussion is going on in the ICMR and other our medical research institutions and everything. What is herd immunity? Herd immunity is a form of indirect protection from infectious diseases that occurs when a large percentage of population has become immune to the infection. So I just given some graph, if you can see, guys see it. So but I'll explain in a very easy way. So there are group of 10 people. In the 10 people, first 3 people are, say, they're very healthy, they're not got infected yet. The second set of the group, there are like 4. They got infected and they're still under treatment. Okay, so still under like course of treatment. There are last set of 3 people, they got infected and they're immune and leading their normal life. If you calculate this, infected and immune are 30%, still under infection are 40%, and still healthy people are like 3%. This infected and immune people, if the percentage increases to 50 to 60%, the mass population of Indian population get immune, then this infection rate might come down slowly. But here again, the challenge is in India, if you see, calculate the old age people is there. This infection might affect to the old age people above 60, and premorbidity conditions like, as I explained, BP, diabetic, hypertension. Okay, and people who spoil their diet. The most of the there's one more research also there in India that most of youngsters getting infection between 30 to 40 years, because again the wrong lifestyle, like an immunity is compromised because of exercise reasons, all those things. So herd immunity is also a very important concept for us if all are healthy. Okay, so, the first approach I'm going to give is the exercise. Don't do exercise, it's bad. I'll tell you why it is bad. If you are not nourished yourself properly, right? Instead of exercise making you good, it will make you bad. If you don't nourish yourself properly, instead of exercise making you good, it will become bad for you, right? So here I'm going to give some protocols to follow. Set your realistic goals first. Don't compare yourself. Hrithik Roshan is building a 6-pack in 3 months, and I want to make 6-packs in 3 months. Right? So set your realistic goals, because even the celebrities have their own physiotherapists, own trainers, own nutritionists, provided their own gyms. So set a realistic goals. You could ask me how many days a week. Again, depends on your lifestyle. What's a goal you okay, looking for a weight loss, weight gain, muscle gain, or just a normal health condition. Okay, I just want to go there and just keep yourself fit. If you ask me, I'll do weekly 3 to 4 days. That's all. Not more than that. If you ask me, weekly 3 to 4 days. That too, hardcore exercise, I'll do 45 minutes to 1 hour, not exceeding more than that. Remaining 1 or 2 days, I'll do yoga, meditation, those things I cover. Again, what kind of a workout shall I do? If you're doing for the weight loss, you can combine with weight training as well as high intensity interval training, Zumba, aerobics, you can combine there. If you already have some knee issues, low back problem, any arthritis, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, go slow, you can do yoga or meditations, you can do it. Some standing chair exercise, you can do it. If you have some condition where you can't move yourself from here and there, okay. Then what are the resting days? You can do alternate days exercise, 1 day off, 1 day on, you can do rest. And then again, plan your workout according to your age. Somebody is doing hardcore workout at the age of 25, 30, and you are 60, no, that guy is doing, I'll also do. Even if you compare yourself, somebody 60 years old guy is doing the same workout, you cannot do it because he's been practicing from last 20 to 30 years. He's practicing from last 20 to 30 years. Don't compare yourself. If you're starting exercise after looking at this video and you want to start your routine and you want to start correcting your lifestyle henceforth, don't immediately jump. Go baby step. Go baby step. At least first week, you start 20 to 30 minutes, then start increasing 10 minutes, then 45 minutes to like 50 minutes, more than enough, or 1 hour. And there's one more very good tip I'm giving here. Expose yourself to the sun morning between 6:30 to 7 o'clock, 10 to 15 minutes. You get natural vitamin D. Natural vitamin D is very good for your body to fight immune system, to bone health, and all the stuff. It's very good. It's a natural vitamin D. Rather than you taking the supplements, rather than you taking any food like tablets or medicine, it's very good. We easily get it from sun. So this is a workout routine. Make sure you eat healthy and follow, because especially I could see some people are doing a lot of hardcore workout and they don't nourish themselves. Some people are run a marathon without nourishing themselves, right? So it's not good. So we have to nourish ourselves and then go to the workout. Right? And then we go. Then I'll come to the my favorite topic is about food. As I said in the beginning, I said food can cure your disease or feed your disease. What food you have, either it can cure your disease or feed your disease, right? Hunger was invented by food companies to sell more food. Did we had the comfort in our olden days to have 6 meals a day? No. Right? We used to have only like 2 or 3 meals a day. I'm telling 200 years back to the nomadic tribes. They used to eat when they used to feel hungry. That's all. Now we hear morning 8 o'clock breakfast, 10, 11 o'clock one more snacks, then 1 o'clock lunch, then again 4 o'clock snacks, then again 8 o'clock dinner, and while go to bed again some more things we will eat and sleep. So that's why I'm telling hunger was invented by food companies to sell them more food. That's all. Stop eating this crap. Right? Stop eating this crap. What is this crap? C, carbonated drinks. That is a slow poison for us. We drinking from ages. Okay, from 10, 20 years we drinking this, and the moment you go to the McDonald's, they'll give you one bread. Upon that one, like French fries, one Coke also. Pure deadly combination. That you giving for your young kids. At the age of 3, 4, 5, you take them to the McDonald's and KFC's, burgers, pizzas. It's a deadly combination. In the childhood, you have to groom your kids in terms of health, wealth, everything, the nutrition part, everything. Instead of that, we are spoiling from childhood itself, giving them a carbonate. Then refined sugars, your candies, then all the processed foods like chocolate, sugar, ice creams. Then your artificial foods that we have to stop to them, like bread, biscuits and all. Then the processed sugars, processed foods. Again, I discussed pizza, burger, then your French fries. So why our home bread is not tasteful? Yeah, just have a bread, no, every day at 5 o'clock in the evening. Within 5 days, you'll get bored. Why you like more like in McDonald's? Because they are chemically formulated to give a taste to your taste buds in the tongue. So you don't miss it. You keep having it, right? You keep having it. The same thing if you give early morning every day the bread in the morning, you'll say no, I don't like it. I don't know, somehow like give me some other food. Why you go to the McDonald's and eat? India is very less. If you go to the other countries, they have staple food. The morning is McDonald's and other things. My intention is not to talk about any other brand, but this is a wrong lifestyle, right? So we need to stop eating this crap, carbonated drinks, refined sugars, then artificial foods, then processed foods. Are we going to do this? Right. So in the next couple of slides, I'm going to give you the top 8 immune booster foods. Before that, I'll give you some more things. Way to stop cravings for unhealthy foods and sugars. Because some people say, how do I cut down this 6 meals, 7 meals, 8 meals I'm already eating? How do I cut down the cravings? How do I go to 1 meal to 1 meal easily without having any snacks in between? Drink the water. Thirst is often confused with the hunger or the food cravings, because you don't know whether it's hunger or it's a thirst. So keep drinking of water, 7 to 8 cups in a day, at least minimum 2 to 2.5 liter in a day. Eat more protein-rich food and good fats. It will lower your appetite. You will not feel hunger. It will lower your appetite. You will not feel hunger. Distance yourself from craving. Plan your meals properly. Avoid getting extremely hungry. And fight stress. Stress, I'm going to talk again. Okay. Get enough sleep. Sleep is where you recover. Sleep is where, when I get stressed, I just eat nice food and go to the bed and sleep and recover. I'll be fine after 3-4 hours. I'll be fine in the next day morning. Sleep is the best thing to recover and recuperate and regenerate. Right? Then the vitamins and minerals are very important to your body to boost your immune system. Your body have a capacity to defend itself. Okay? So it's not you have an immune system, you are the immune system. People say, oh, boost your immune system. No, no. Your body itself is an immune system. Body itself is an immune system. You have 40 trillion cells which protects foreign invaders. We have physical barrier like a skin, okay, cell membranes, mucous membranes, then chemical defenses we have free radicals and phagocytes. Then we have a detoxification process. Then we have a cell-based immune system called WBC. Cell-based immune system called WBC. Okay, that's what usually everybody end up talking about immune system. Immune system is the whole, the body itself is called immune system. Okay, don't focus only one thing. There are so many things to focus. So how do we build the immune system? Well, it starts with whole food. It starts with the whole food, right? That includes your vitamins, minerals, essential amino acids and essential fatty acids and nutritional dense food. And your chemically formulated foods will never give any nutrients to you. Great. We need to understand some things help immunity, some hurt the immunity, right? I'm telling here, something will help the immunity and some will again hamper the immunity that I've discussed in the previous slide. So now again, help immunity, vitamin C, vitamin D and vitamin A. They are all white blood cell activators and cell-based immunity. Vitamin A is a critical mucous membrane, act as a barrier. Okay, next comes the trace minerals. There are 4 components are very important to boost our immunity. Trace minerals is zinc. Zinc activates these white blood cells. And then one more is called calcium, right? After that, essential fatty acids and amino acids. Fatty acids will help in modulate the inflammation. Amino acids, they are what make immune cells stronger, like immunoglobulins. They're made up of immunoglobulins made up of these amino acids. Don't think as it is a medicine, it's all available in our food. And this also, you should not do too much. Enough is enough. That's all. We don't need to overdo it up. If I say the 100 grams, this much provide, this much, you don't need to do full 100 grams. But you should have a combination of all the complex foods, the whole food you have to have. So what will hurt immunity? I already discussed the excess of sugar, excess of alcohol, smoking and stress, processed food, low in nutrients, high in sugar, high in cholesterol. There is no nutrients to make up for a poison. People say, I had this, shall I mix it up? Shall I match it up? Shall I drink this? No, poison is poison. Once you're done with this, why? If you know it is a poison, don't do it. No, that's why I'm telling, there is no nutrients to make up for a poison you consume, right? Okay, how can we approach? 90% of impact on immune system, they eat sugar stressed to the death. Okay, then they wonder what kind of a pill would help immunity. 90% of impact on immune system, they eat the sugar and the stress to the death. Then they wonder what kind of a pill. There is no magic pill to boost your immune system. There is no magic pill. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Okay, there are two stages of approach you can do it. First, short term, for initially for like first month or 2 months. Okay, avoid this crab for 50%. Don't eat the crabs. I told you crabs. Or what is the crabs? Then the stress, reduce your stress. Then start having your nutrition food 10%. This is the first short term. Maybe use it for 2-3 weeks in the first beginning. Then the long term. The long term focus on this 3 parameter: stress level, 33% might impact then the nutrition, and then avoid. I told you though, avoid these scraps. So we'll start with the first 8 foods here. The garlic. So we Indian spices are always good for us. Use the garlics in your regular food, whatever you make it. It has an active ingredient called allicin. It's a sulfur compound. It's an antibacterial, antiviral, anti-yeast, antifungal, and anti-mold. And next is the ginger. You can use the ginger because in our house we eat a piece of ginger. Just take it and chew it. Or else you can mix it for your green tea. Just take the ginger juice, put it and drink it in the morning. Just take 200 ml of water and put 1 spoon of ginger juice and half lime, put 3 grams of turmeric and drink it. It's very good in the morning. So again, the ginger do antimicrobial, antifungal, helps in digestion and inflammation, and modulates inflammation modulator. And then is the turmeric. Turmeric have the particular compound called curcumin. Okay, it's an antimicrobial and inflammation modulator. It reverses your stress also. When you get a stress, it reverses your stress and reduces your hormone cortisol. And what is BDNF? BDNF is called brain derivative neurofactor. It increases the BDNF. Turmeric increases, and it helps in your gut health and gut line and the gut biome. So that's why you use this on a regular basis, turmeric. Then we have a cod liver oil, a good quality of cod liver oil. So have like 375% vitamin D per tablespoon and 450% of vitamin D per tablespoon. Sorry, and EPA of 1035 mg per tablespoon and DHA of 1650 per tablespoon. And again, it helps in inflammation modulation. And then you have an eggs. Choose the country eggs, what I prefer for everyone. A 3 large egg contain 33% of vitamin D, 30% of vitamin A, and 22% of your zinc, daily zinc, and 9% of the calcium. And the whole 3 eggs contain 21 grams of complete protein. And this is insulin, like healthy. What does it mean? Whenever you eat any food, so that increases your insulin response. In that case, your eggs have very less insulin response. You can have without worry, and you can have even yolk also. Egg white and yolk is a whole meal for you. Okay, it's a whole meal. Okay, please kindly try having all this together in the combination. Don't have only yolk, or don't have only white. Have it whole egg. Then we have bell peppers like capsicum and red capsicum, what we call, or yellow. It's called a bell pepper. 100 grams of bell peppers have 213% of vitamin C, 104% of vitamin A, and 3% of zinc and 1% of calcium and minerals. It's very good. You can use in your regular cooking. Then we have broccoli also. We have 148% of vitamin C and 21% of vitamin A, 4% of zinc and 5% of calcium. This is also insulin healthy. You can have. Other than that, you can start having some more in your diet, like pumpkin seeds. You can have amla, orange you can use, the lime you can use, tender coconut you can use in your diet regularly. The green leafy vegetables, fermented vegetables for gut, good for your gut health. This all you start having in your regular day diet rather than just throw it all your old food from your fridge. If you're keeping it like all this, I said, bread, biscuit, pasta, noodles, cereals, crackers, sugar, chocolate, ice creams, throw it away and start implementing all these things in your diet day to day, and slowly you build. And first point I told you to how to avoid certain things. This will help you. And one thing I want to talk about the mask. I've just got morning some news. One person has died in the wearing a mask and doing an exercise. When you have used this N95 mask, you start breathing your own carbon dioxide here. Rather than use kind of a scarf yourself, or at least you can breathe, and don't use mask for most of the time. You can use the instructions given here. Okay, so what's the dangers about the mask? Make sure you use minimal mask or a scarf or something to wear for yourself. If you have a sneezing, cold and cough, use a good one when you go outside, and try not to contact with the other people and spread the infection. Great.
And, will you be winding up within?
Yes. Last point. Okay. Okay, so there are last things I want to just say, like, these all things follow for next 6 to 12 months. This has been guidance given by ICMR. This 20 points, I just read it fastly. You guys go through with this. Point number 1, postpone travel abroad for next 2 years. Don't eat outside food for 1 year. Don't go unnecessary marriages or other similar ceremonies. Go in a small crowd, or don't go to the crowded places. Don't take unnecessary travel trips. Don't go to the crowded places for next 1 year. Completely follow the social distancing norms. Stay away from the person who has cough, cold, fever. Keep face mask on. But again, I told you this you have to follow in your own way. Okay, where you're going to expose or you have any further infection with yourself. Be careful in the current 1 week. This week is very dangerous till May end. Don't let any mess around you. Prefer vegetarian food, and don't go to the cinema, mall, crowded places and park if possible. Avoid them. Increase your immunity. That's the whole topic we discussed now. Be very careful while barber shop and beauty salons. Carry your own personal hygiene while you're going there. Your own like knife or scissors, hand towels and sanitizers if you want to carry. Avoid unnecessary meetings. Always keep mind in social distancing. The threat of coronavirus is not going to end soon. It will be there with us for like 1.5 to 2 years. Don't wear the belt, rings, wrist watch when you go out. Watch is not required. Your mobile has got to do everything. No handkerchiefs. Take hand sanitizer and tissues if required. Don't bring the shoes from outside. Just keep it outside of the house. Clean your hands and legs when you come out of from outside. When you feel you have come nearer to the suspected patient, take a thorough bath when you come inside the house. Lockdown or no lockdown, please follow this for next 6 to 12 months. Okay. So good luck everyone. Stay safe. Follow all the protocols. And say good evening.
Excellent, Yashpal. This is a wonderful presentation, a splendid presentation you have given us on the different dimensions, how to boost our lifestyle, how to change our lifestyle, and also how to boost our immunity. So, but I think that the last almost 21 special instruction to us, I think it will be very difficult that, you should not travel abroad for 2 years and all those things, so it might be a little crashing our dreams and all those things.
But it's a fact, no? It's a fact.
Yes.
With a self precaution, you can do it. Again, yes. I told you, not completely. If it's unavoidable circumstances, please travel.
Okay. So thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, and we will have the question answer maybe together. So now I invite our friend Circle Inspector Somsekhar to come and present us, this Corona time, how the police officers, we have seen that, how day and night they were taking care of us, and they have their own family, and Somsekhar has his wife Sheila and son Utkarsh, and yeah, that would be a time. He told me that he has sent his son to his village there in Shimoga. So we welcome you, sir, to this lecture, and we like to hear, and also we want to thank you for this wonderful service you are doing at this crisis time. Your time, energy, everything has been, and then Somsekhar is a person who is into social conduct, and then a very good friend with many people. I have seen that how he is in the midst of his friends. He is like a king. Everybody wanted to be with him, and then the great hilarious interactions, and tell us about, how the police is instructing us, and how you are even the stress and strain in this time, and also how we should follow the instructions given by the government, executed by the police officers like you. So Somsekhar, please.
Yes, Father. Thank you very much for this elaborate introduction. Good evening all. Good evening all of you. Good evening, all the viewers. We are here in a wonderful campus, ECC. We are having a great evening. Just now, we all have witnessed a beautiful, elaborate presentation by my great friend Yash Paul. Thank you, Yash. Thank you personally, and on behalf of ECC, have given eye-sighting and mind-blowing presentations, which is the need of the hour now. So I thank you very much. Yes, dear friends, hope all of you are enjoying the life. If not, please start doing it now. So we have never seen a world coming to the halt as it is going through now. Anyone have ever seen world going to the end or world going to the complete halt as it has happened in last couple of months?
Never.
Never, right? Yes, the answer should be never, and it should not happen also. So, well, being a police inspector and a representative of state government from the police department, I have many things to share with you, many things to speak with you. It is more or like an interaction section. So as you are aware, we are into the midst of COVID-19 novel coronavirus. WHO has declared it as pandemic. What is pandemic? What do you mean by pandemic? Pandemic is a disease prevalent in a country or in the whole world. We need to understand the definition here. It's a disease prevalent in all country or in the whole world. Then it is called pandemic. There you can get the seriousness of the disease. So going to the next level, WHO has recently declared COVID-19 as PHEIC. So what do you mean by PHIC? What is the full form? Public Health Emergency International Concern. There you can understand that shifting of gravity from the seriousness to the next level. Public Health Emergency International Concern. This is how the world is treating COVID-19, the novel coronavirus, the influenza. It will directly attack your lungs. That is called SARI in scientific and technical world. My friend has explained. It is like a SARI. SARI, what is SARI? Severe acute respiratory illness. So we can understand the seriousness, the illness which can cause to the people. So dear friends, dear viewers, as a point of view of a government authority, I would like to explain. So the moment the coronavirus has break in India, it has got a breakthrough in India. The most of the states, almost all the states of India have declared an emergency kind of a situation and imposed Section 144. Most of you have heard in the recent times, state government, police department have been imposing, the district administration has been imposing Section 144. So what is Section 144? Most of the people might be wondering, what do you mean by Section 144? What are the do's and don'ts? Why government and why the department authorities should impose Section 144? And going to the next level, there was a situation also we have always faced. Most of the times we have faced curfew also. So going to the situation where you have to face curfew and Section 144 is a very difficult task by being an individual who are addicted to, who are involved in various aspects of day-to-day social economic life. So what do you mean by Section 144 of Criminal Procedure Code? Basically, we have to understand this. What do you mean by Section 144? 144 section is a situation where an executive magistrate of a state, of a district, of a union territory will issue an order to prohibit the assembly of 4 or more people. Please understand, to issue an prohibitory order for the assembly of 4 or more people in an area. If 4 or more people gathers during the time of 144 section, that such assembly is called unlawful assembly. What do you mean by unlawful assembly? Unlawful assembly is a place or is a situation or a group of persons where 3 or more people are gathered against the order of a state, order of an authority, to breach peace of a society, against the tranquility of the society, to make a public nuisance. That is the whole definition of, that is the essence of imposing section 144. Then coming to the point now, why it is required in the current scenario, why people are wondered why section 144 has been imposed, why curfew has been imposed. Dear friends, what is the role of all agencies and all authorities in the current situation, as you all aware, to avoid and spreading of coronavirus from person to person, from individual to individuals. To do that, to restrict the movement of the individuals, movement of the persons. So section 144 is a very important weapon. This is a very important ingredient as far as state authorities are concerned. So coming to the next point of curfew. Curfew is nothing but a situation, is the next level of 144. It is nothing but a situation where people has to isolate themselves in their respective place of stay. Wherever you are staying, at your home or some other place, you isolate yourself. Don't come out unless the valid permission from the authorities. In these certain circumstances, there are certain exemptions. There you can come out with a valid reason from the proper authority. Hope you are all understand what is the essence of section 144 and curfew. So if you have any queries, if you have any clarifications, if you have any doubts, our dear moderator has given a time at the end of the session. To clarify all those things. So what is the duration of this section 144? We all get confused. We are still living in the era of 144 section. How it can be imposed, till what is the duration, till how many days government authorities can do that. Technically speaking, a prohibitory order, that is section 144 of CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code, can be enforced for a minimum of 2 months and maximum of 6 months. That is depending on the discretion of the government or the authorities based on the situation. So what is the prime concern and the prime motto of the all authorities, including police agency? To safeguard the life and property of the people is our main basic goal, basic work atmosphere of all agencies. That is what the essence of prohibitory order. Dear friends, coming to the practical difficulties, as I'm speaking to you in the beginning, we have a lot of practical problems or difficulties in imposing section 144 or in imposing curfew. What are those situations? How we are facing the problems? So as during section 144, the restriction of the movements of the people is completely curtailed, giving exception to the basic necessity with the valid permission of the authorities. See, you might be wandering in the city of Bangalore, you might be seeing the police are barricading the most of the junctions. There may be a random vehicle checkings, there might be a random screening of the people, there might be a random seizing of the vehicles. So recently I've been heard in the news TV channels and read in the newspapers, police are seizing the vehicles in the large numbers, people are getting into a difficulty. What is the necessity of seizing the vehicles or making people, scrutinizing the people or frisking the people in the current situation? When you are roaming outside without a valid permission, without a valid permit from the concerned authorities, you are liable for punishment. Please keep it in mind when prohibitory order is in position, is in force, when you are wandering, when you are roaming one place to another place without the valid permission of an authorities, you are liable for punishment, you are liable for frisking. When police seize your vehicle will get connected with the polling seizing documents. You have to go to the concerned authorities to get it released. These are all the difficulties which are being impractical in practice. So be careful, dear citizens, dear individuals, be careful while you are roaming on the streets or when going from one place to another without the valid permission of the authorities. So coming to the next point. So using of mask, sanitaries has been mandatory in these days. We have never been used to this. Have you ever been used to wearing mask and using sanitaries?
Never.
No, never. In my lifetime, I never used mask. Even when my dad was hospitalized in Manipal Hospital, when he was in ICU for more than 1.5 months, I very hesitant to wear mask and go near to him, because that kind of a suffocation, that kind of an uneasiness you used to face by wearing the mask. But these days, for your surprise, for government authorities, BBMP authority has made it mandatory to use mask in all the public gatherings. I'll explain you in details how the BBMP has made mandatory to use mask in all the public places and what are the provisions to do that. So I'll go through those things. Wearing of a facial mask to cover mouth and nose is compulsory in public places and in any working space with more than 5 people or with more than 3 people. This is point to be remembered. And the second point, facial mask, and this is very important class. Please have your attention. Facial mask and gloves used by any of the households and commercial establishment should be properly handed over to waste collectors in covers or in closed bags as part of sanitary rejected waste. Understand that waste disposal? This is very important part, since we are aware how we are all facing the segregation of waste and the disposal of the waste. And please make sure and you follow these simple instructions without any second thought and without any hesitation. And third very important aspect, spitting, urinating and littering and any kind of related public nuisance is banned and will be considered as public offense. Dear citizens, I'm repeating again, spitting, urinating, littering and any kind of related public nuisance is banned and will be considered public nuisance. So these are all the 3 valid points have been imposed by BBMP authorities on 3/4/2020 with the mandatory part that we should follow these rules, and these are all punishable things. When you violate these rules and regulations, these conditions, you are liable for penalty. How much we are liable for penalty? For the first inside, if you does any of the above mistakes, if you violate any of the above points for the first inside, you are liable to pay how much fees, how much fine? 1,000 rupees. Please remember, 1,000 rupees for the first instance. If you repeat this for the second instance, you are liable to pay 2,000 rupees. 2,000 rupees. If you are a repeated offender, if you are a habitual offender, if you keep doing this in the public place for a public news, you can be booked an FIR under relevant section of IPC. Hope I'm clear. If you are a repeated violator in the public place, if you are violating in any of the above conditions or above rules, you are penalized and you can be booked under relevant sections of IPC. Even I can also say what are those sections. You can note it down on Google when you are free. Section 188 IPC for violating prohibitory orders. Section 269 IPC Indian Penal Code. Section 270 Indian Penal Code. These are all the few sections which can be invoked against any of the citizens who are found to be violators of any of the government authorities rules which are existing on day-to-day FIR. So what is section 188 IPC says? What is section 269 IPC says? I'll give you a brief hint of what is the section definition of these 3 important sections. Section 269 IPC says, any negligent act, please do remember, any negligent act likely to spread infection of disease which dangerous to human life. See the beauty of the definition of the section, which was written in 1860, somewhere in 1860 by Lord Macaulay. Look at the beauty of the section and definition, how it is relevant even to the present scenario, even to the COVID and coronavirus situation, how this age-old section is still relevant, it is prevalent in Indian Penal Code. So I'll repeat, any negligent act likely to spread infection of disease which is dangerous to human life, section 269 IPC. Understand? Going to the next section, section 270 IPC, section 270 IPC. So what are the ingredients? Any malignant act likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to human life. Please understand, there is a subtle difference between section 269 and 270, written way back in 1860. Any malignant act likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to human life. Now you should understand the seriousness of staying at home and isolating yourself. There are severe criminal procedures against all the citizens who are found to be violators of prohibited order or who are found to be the violators of any BBMP rules and guidelines. And what is section 188 IPC? When you are violating any prohibitory orders, that is section 144 and curfew order. What is 188 IPC says? Disobedience to order duly promulgated by public servant. I'm putting you in a simple nutshell. Disobedience to the order duly promulgated by the public servant. Hope you understand clear? These are all the few important sections which are relevant to the current situation, and every individual should be aware of those penal provisions. We have seen number of cases have been registered against most of the citizens, most of the violators. In Bangalore city also, police authorities have seized plenty of vehicles found to be violated the COVID-19 prohibitory restrictions. And they have even registered FIRs. They have initiated criminal proceedings against most of the individuals who have found to be the serious violators of pandemic rules and regulations. So there is certain situation where a policeman, where there are other agencies of the department are facing some certain practical difficulties. I want to throw lights on those issues. These days, commonly we are hearing the household names, ASHA workers. How many of you heard of ASHA workers? Hope all of you are heard of ASHA workers, right?
Yeah, we had.
Yes. Who are those ASHA workers? Where do they come from? What is their legal sanctity? This is the doubt everyone carries when a ASHA worker or a health worker, health social worker, we also call them health social worker, visit a particular place. So dear citizen, please do keep in mind they are discharging an excellent service to the human being under this highly difficult situation which has been made life hell to the human life, peaceful living. What is their role? How they are facing the problem? ASHA workers means, I'll give you a small background of ASHA workers. ASHA workers means the word ASHA itself says accredited social health activist. What is ASHA? ASHA. Accredited social health activist. What is the legal sanctity? Where it is come from? It is a social health activism or community health activity enacted by the Government of India under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Is it clear? Hope everybody got that. It is a system formulated by Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare as a part of Rural Health Missionary. Please understand, as a part of Rural Health Missionary. Why I'm stressing these points? Recently we have all been noticing few things. where there have been a serious assault on ASHA workers in most of the parts of our state, most of the parts of our city. We have been noticed there have been a debacle to ASHA workers in going to a certain place and discharging their official noble duty. What is their noble duty? What ASHA workers are doing? ASHA workers are going directly in contact of a person who is suspected to be a positive case, or who are suspected to be a case of COVID-19 or coronavirus. They are directly going in contact of a person. They are taking the technical or scientific swabs or certain things which are required to find out is he a positive case or negative case. Please do respect ASHA workers. Please do ASHA workers and all the health authorities who will visit your place to discharge their duty. That is why government has declared, or the authorities have declared, there are corona warriors. Who are all corona warriors? I am very proud to say we are all part of corona warriors. If you are being a sensitive and disciplined citizen, you can also be a corona warrior. How you will become a sensitive and disciplined citizen? Please follow simple restrictions which has been temporarily imposed to protect the life and property of the individual. So police is in corona warrior. You must have noticed in Bangalore city and in and around Bangalore city, there are most of police station, most of the policemen in and around Bangalore state, in and around Karnataka, most of the policemen I was found with corona positive cases. They have been admitted to hospital. They have been taken to quarantine places. They have been taken into isolation places. Their places have been quarantined, and their places have been seized. Their places have been sealed down, and their places have been completely taken for care by the authorities. And it has been declared as red zone, yellow zone, green zone. Dear public, please do not think there is certain zones exists in the present scenario. Any green zone tomorrow can convert into red zone. Any yellow zone tomorrow may convert into red zone. There is no bar. We are all very near to the scene. We are all very near to the barrier. We are all very, very close to the scenario now. So do not relax yourself. I am staying in Whitefield. I am staying in ECC. This is completely sealed down area. This is completely protected area. Ours is completely green zone area. No. If you have that impression, if you have that prejudice mindset, please come out of that. There is no specific. This is only for the numerical sake. This is only for the sake of categorization of certain areas that government and department has made: green zone, yellow zone, and the orange zone. So you have been noticing recently Shumaga was in green zone. Our friend Yashwaspan Mahasan, his district was in from green zone. So now it has been turned into orange zone very soon. Immediately, then is quick shift from one zone to another zone. We cannot know. We cannot predict tomorrow. It might be a red zone. Why? If you don't follow the rules of an authority, if you don't follow the safety and healthy tips, we are all prone for any kind of diseases, especially the COVID-19. Dear friends, moving on to my next topic. See, we are all hearing the common words these days: quarantined. The people are quarantined. People are isolated, and people are the area is sealed down. Area is completely locked down. Area has been contained. The containment of areas. Why it is required? Why that is the need of the hour? Why a person has to be quarantined? Why a person has to be isolated? What is the role of authorities there? What is the role of police agency? What is the role of health department? Please, all of you should understand. These are all activities, the prevention activities, and all other activities which are related to the prevention and treating of COVID-19 situation has been undertaken by the Government of India under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Understand? ಕುಟುಂಬ ಮತ್ತು ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. In English it says Health and Family Welfare Department, which is undertaking all, and in connivance with all the other departments of the government, all mother departments of the government, in connivance of all the department, this is the major health department which is undertaking all the required measures which are required. Why when an area, if you got a message, being a public servant, if I got a message that there is some person who is suspected to be a corona patient, so what is my immediate response? Suppose if you are at your home and do you think your neighbor is a suspect of coronavirus and he is a suspect of COVID-19? So what you have to do? There are certain, I'm repeating, there are certain helpline numbers, there are certain website IDs, and there are certain modules where you can directly approach the authorities. So what are those modules? What are those certain agencies where you can approach the authorities? I just make you understand this thing. All the please note down the hall. Everybody, please note down the corona helpline numbers. This is a state. Any person who has turned from COVID-19 affected country or has been in personal contact with such person must remain in home isolation for 14 days. This is the direction of the government. Please understand it. Any person who has returned from COVID-19 affected countries or places has been in personal contact with such person must remain in home isolation for 14 days from arrival in particular place or arrival in India, irrespective of having any symptoms or not. This is very important. Irrespective of having any symptom or not. Also should self-notify to nearest government hospital or free call Aapta Mitra helpline. That is what I'm stressing. Please note down. Please do not hesitate to call Aapta Mitra helpline. The helpline number goes like this: 14410. Please note down Aapta Mitra. Aapta Mitra is a new app launched by Karnataka state government to help the citizens to get in touch with any kind of helplines which related to coronavirus. Aapta Mitra helpline 14410. To maintain personal hygiene, use tissue paper, handkerchief while coughing or sneezing. These are all the important ingredients or safety tips which has been provided under government portals. Frequently wash your hands with soap, water, or use hand sanitizer, and avoid attending mass social gathering. These are all the few tips, safety tips that's been enacted by the government. So Aapta Mitra is a helpline project which number is 14410, and there are other help desk also. I would like to share with you all helpline numbers. There is a one more mobile number is there. You can make it note down for any kind of emergency. 9745 697456. 697456. This is one mobile number. There is one more landline number. You should also make use of that, because being a common man, I might be afraid of myself of making it to public to the government, or reaching the government, reaching the right people, reaching the right authorities if I am affected or if my neighbor is affected. So our response will be very immediate, very quick. Ambulance will reach your place with all PPE preparations, personal protection equipment preparations, where health workers will reach your place with the ambulance, with all equipped ambulance. And please note down the landline number. It goes like that: 080 4684 8600. This is a one landline number, and you can make down one more landline number: 66692 66692 000 3 times 0 66692 000 3 times 0, and 14410 is an Aapta Mitra helpline number. This is a basic helpline details which every individual should be wary of in there, you should make sure you should note down all these numbers in your mobile numbers, or you can note down, you can write it down somewhere in the place, in the conspicuous space of your home, where everyone should know these are all helpline numbers. Do not hesitate to inform the authorities. Do not hesitate. Do not delay inform the authorities or reaching the authorities. See, I'll give you the hint or the current situation in present, current situation of our state. As per the health bulletin of Department of Health and Family Welfare, Karnataka State, as on 15/5/2020, as on 15/5/2020 at evening 5 p.m., total active cases in our state is 539. There are 539 active cases are there. So from 14/5/2020 evening 5 p.m. to 15/5/2020 5 p.m., that is for 24 hours, we have seen drastic rise in number of positive COVID-19 cases. How many cases in one day? 69 cases. This is the highest number in the recent days. Please, dear citizen, understand the seriousness. 69 number of positive cases in one day in 24 hours. This is the highest number in this present scenario. So the graph is raising in a drastic speed, is going in a high tempo, is going in a monumental speed. Please understand the severity. So total, out of total 539 active cases, 69 cases have been reported in one day. So total discharges happened in Karnataka State, 480 discharges in Karnataka State. 480 discharges so far in Karnataka State. Total number of COVID deaths, 36 so far in Karnataka State, 36 number of COVID deaths. So I'm not giving you these figures to panic you all. Please understand, I'm not giving you these figures and facts to make you panic you all. That is not my intention also. I just want all of you to make sure the logistics, the facts and figures, to find out where you are heading, where you are dealing, how safe you are, how government is trying to reach you, how government is struggling, in fact, how authorities are struggling, in fact, to make all of you safe. Going to the next. Total positive case as of now in Karnataka State, 1056. You can see from 0 to 1000 we have reached so fast. From 0 to 1000 cases we have reached so far. But only the really fact we are all having is we almost 40 to 45%. The patients are getting treated and they are getting discharged. And after discharge also, we are not sure what is our tomorrow. Again, there are certain theories coming up. As my friend Yashpal said, there are certain stories and theories and certain guidelines from the WHO and other health bulletins are coming up that they might be vulnerable for secondary infections. So, going to the next very important aspect, my friend was asking, I've been getting a lot of phone calls for only the simple reasons. I want to go to my native district. I want to go to my native state. Please help me. What is the rules? What is the system? Whom should I approach? Where should I go? What is the procedure? This is very important aspect. This is a very important aspect. I'm giving you. See, please all of you refer the procedure for getting e-passes. How do you get the e-passes? Many people having a lot of confusions. Many people will be having wandering strandedly from one place to another without giving the valid reasons. Or most of you can see there will be long queues standing outside the police station, standing outside the authority offices. So to make your job easier, our honorable government has developed certain websites and developed certain simple e-procedures where you can apply yourself with some valid reasons and some documents where you can eligible for travel from one district to another district, or from one state to another place, or from one place to another place. To move from one place to another place, in Bangalore city, from morning 7 o'clock to evening 7 o'clock, hope all of you are aware, there is no requirement of pass right now. Please let me be clear again. From morning 7 a.m. to evening 7 p.m. to walk around for your day-to-day affair, for your regular work schedule, there was no requirement of pass. So authorities will not stop you for not having a valid pass. But please do remember, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., there will be a clear imposing of prohibitory orders. There is a clear imposition of prohibitory order that is still is in existence. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. So going to the pass requirements, there is a website, please note down. KSP, Karnataka State Police, KSP Clear Pass, CLEARPASS, KSP Clear Pass .idp. What is IDP stands for? Inter-district pass. Inter-district pass. KSP Clear Pass .idp mygate.com. Mygate, MYGATE gate.com. This is a website that has been designed and it has been invented. This has been imposed by the state government for all the users who are in a necessity, who are in an emergency to travel from one district to another district for their day-to-day affair or then any kind of emergency. There is a certain set of rules, certain set of conditions have been imposed in the website. Once you download this website, we will be able to go through what all the conditions or prepositions which has been mandatory for all the persons who are in need of the passes. And there is also one application, government app, which has been designed, which has been implemented in this out, that is called Arogya Setu. Arogya Setu, I am repeating, Arogya Setu, AROGYA, Arogya Setu, SETU. You can download the app in Android version also, in iOS version also. This app will give you, and this app is having beautiful insights of all the COVID-19 related issues and practical day-to-day affairs has been uploaded in this website, and how safe your area, how far you are from a COVID-19 suspected case. Is it your area is sealed down? Is it your area is completely under containment? Is it your area comes under which zone? These are all the queries we are having in regularly. If you download this app, if you go through this app, you will find answer for all your queries. Please note down Arogya Setu application launched by state government. So going to the next point. So what is the procedure for going to the interstate? So interstate things. So I go through procedure for interstate passes. So as I said, to travel within Karnataka for own car, apply on kspclearpass.idp.mygate.com. They will receive the permission upon clearance from the police. The person who will apply for the passes will get the passes upon clearance from the police. Okay. For public transport, that is KSRTC. Recently, government have been opened traveling in KSRTC. For public transport in KSRTC, they do not require passes. I'm clearing. They do not require passes. They can board in a special bus at Majestic. Depends on the availability. Depending on the availability, provided they should pre-book. They should make a pre-booking in the government portals to the respective districts. To travel outside Karnataka, I'm coming to the basic point. To travel outside Karnataka, for own car, they can go to the ADGP office, Additional Director General of Police office, that is I&M. office, wireless office at near Chinnaswamy Stadium. Office of Director General of Police, I&M, wireless office at Chinnaswamy Stadium, and apply for the process, and you can obtain the passes there. Is it clear?
Yes.
And on the e-passes availability, there is an application, there is a website, sevasindhu.karnataka.gov.in for rail transportation. Recently we have been seeing problems with all migrant laborers. We are facing severe problems with the migrant laborers because they have been locked down in Bangalore, locked down in some corners of the place where they are working. They are coming from different parts of the state, from India. They've been locked down here for a couple of months. They wanted to travel back to their places, and for rail transport, they need to register. In Karnataka, going in sevasindhu. I'm making clear, sevasindhu, SEVASINDHU.karnataka.gov.in. In this website, you can find the even passes for inter-district. I'm repeating, you can find a link to get e-passes for inter-district, interstate, to travel via your own vehicle transportation or through rail transportation. Plus every state, suppose if I'm a Bangalorean, I'm stuck up in Chennai. So every state has its own as in own similar portal for applying of e-passes, like Goa online.gov.in, Tamil Nadu online.gov.in. This each state has made up a new applications or portals for all the outside state travelers to make their life, to make the transportation easier. Hope I'm clear for passes and traveling things.
Yes.
Okay. So going to the last aspect of my discussion, there are plenty of things to cover. I think this timing is already popping up. It's 7:30. So I'm going to the last session of my discussion. So what are the legal prominences? What are the legal prominences which are available for the authorities? Why I'm telling you all those things? To make you sensitized, to make you understand, to make you know how government setup works in this kind of emergency situation. See, there is one act called Epidemic Diseases Act. Epidemic Diseases Act. I'm repeating Epidemic Diseases Act 1897. This is one act which empowers authorities to deal with virus situation, coronavirus situation, or any kind of epidemic disease situations. Going to the next act, Karnataka State Disease COVID-19 Regulations. For immediate effect, for immediate modulation, Karnataka State Government has enacted the new regulations through an ordinance called Karnataka State Disease COVID-19 Regulations. Please understand, Karnataka State Disease COVID-19 Regulations. And third important act, important substance which deals the present situation or any kind of disaster situation is National Disaster Management Act. National Disaster Management Act. We might have seen the disaster management teams rushing to the spot where we will have a disaster. Suppose in your next door, suddenly a building collapse. Suddenly there was a fire emergency. Suddenly there was pandemic emergency kind of a situation. What kind of a team will rush to the place? Disaster management team. Disaster management team has been set up from the year 2005. So in our state also, National Disaster Management Committee is there. Please understand that State Disaster Management Committee has been formed, has been framed. Who is the chairman of this committee? Chief Secretary of our state, Vijay Bhaskar sir, IAS. He is a Chief Secretary of our state. He is a chairman of this committee. This committee is responsible, and this is the mother committee which is directly dealing with the situation, entire situation of COVID-19 in Karnataka state. I'm repeating, it works under National Disaster Management Act and Karnataka State Disaster Management Committee, headed by Chief Secretary, who is the chairman of the committee. Such committee is responsible for framing all rules and regulations, do's and don'ts under these situations. And this committee or this management directly comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Understand the link, understand the tree mapping of the situation. There is a Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, which imposes rules and regulations for the entire country. So every state government will receive the instructions from that ministry, from office of PMO. Through that, when the such instruction receives, each state government through disaster management committee formats, implements such rules and regulations through their own standards. So this is in all brief. I took my time to give you not all the bulk of an explanations or the bulk of an informations, the immediate information, immediate important necessary information for all of you or for all the viewers. So how do you find my session?
I would say that, Somasekhar, sir, it was a splendid and wonderful session. We have lots of information you have shared, and lots of our questions about, how to travel from one city to the other city or district, and then also to the state. So people were confused, and what is 144, how, and then I see you as a warrior of discipline, and splendidly done, and hearty congratulations, and then we really grateful to you. And I would say that, we have two warriors, a health warrior and a discipline warrior. Two of them today have given us a splendid presentations on how to boost our health, change our lifestyle, and also how to be disciplined, and then how to travel in these times. So now I think lots of write-ups are came here, and then from the listeners, it is a good information, sirs. This awareness very, very necessary to the community. Thanking you so much, our honorable sirs. So these are some of the responses, and I don't want to sum up or anything, but now it is open. Maybe we can have 2-3 questions, and then we can wind up. So who wants to ask questions? Anybody just raise on yes, to Somasekhar or to Yashpal? Yes, Sukumar, please.
Thank you so much, sir, Yashpal sir, as well as Somasekhar sir, for your profound and creative talk. It is not just a talk, it is also very interdisciplinary. It's a very broader area where you focus from global views to local views. I salute for your knowledge and wisdom. I have one question to each of you. First question to Yashpal sir. You spoke about immune boosting foods, especially about garlic and ginger. Normally when we mix, elders say garlic and ginger is not good for health. So in what way this garlic and ginger is that immune or boosting system of our body? Would you please explain a bit more about these two things, garlic and ginger? And next question to Somasekhar sir. It's really great and honor and humble to listen your presentation from World Health Organization, from the global view to the local view of Karnataka. Sir, as a police officer, when you walk around or when you're on duty, when you see homeless people, construction workers, especially migrant workers, how you deal with them? What is your opinion about the issues with the migrant workers? Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sukumar. Maybe both of you can respond. Yashpal?
Yeah. See, all our Indian spices are good. Okay, there's no hard and fast rule that you cannot mix here or something. Especially, we use ginger and garlic in our regular food. If you remember, when we cook our sambar, rasam, or anything, right? So, especially if you want to have the complete benefit of a ginger, so you can have it separately. That's how you don't mix anything. So we have it separately. If you want to get that benefit of that particular the food items what we eat, use it separately. There was a myth even that people are consuming honey with lime. I told them to get separate. Don't mix it. If you're using for a benefit for the immunity, use it honey separately. If you want to use lime to weight loss, use it separately. Don't mix. The same way, if you're using a garlic, okay, you can make garlic, roasted garlic, you can keep it, or you use the garlic in your regular traditional food. Garlic, you don't need to make something special, or else you can make a garlic something which is a fermented food. When you put a pickles, use the garlics in that. So the same way with the ginger, you can make the ginger juice separately in the morning. Okay, you make 200 ml of water and take 1 spoon of ginger juice, put it there and drink it. And I use myself ginger separately. I eat each and every meal. After the meal, I use the ginger piece and eat. It's a normal. When I get fever, cold, cough, I take 1 spoon of honey and put a ginger and eat. It's a different usage of a different spices in a different way. Hope you got my answer.
Yes, thank you, Yashpal. Somsekhar, please.
Yes. Sukumarji, good evening. How are you?
Sir, good evening, sir. I'm fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Good. Which area are you from?
Sir?
Which area are you from?
I'm from Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Anantapur district. Excellent. Join for outside interstate weaver. So you have raised a valid question, and I'm really thankful for your concern on migrant and homeless laborers. That is the need of the hour, actually, in fact. So those are the people that are in grave concern on the present scenario. And I would like to give you a few insights on what government and authorities are doing to strengthen their current pathetic situation. So in our state government has clearly notified in respect to the food and shelter of those migrant and homeless laborers, wherever they are working, wherever they are staying. So who is a responsible person? There might be some contractors, there might be some builders, there might be some headman who is leading the team, should be responsible to take care their food and shelter things until these things situation comes normal. That is one thing. Second thing, I'm very proud to say Karnataka State Police Department from the police station level is doing a tremendous work, tremendous humanity work. We have been serving the food on 3 times in a day for these kind of homeless people or these kind of interstate migrant laborers class, wherever we see, wherever we go through such people. So this first time in history in this kind of situation might have arisen, but we are very proud to say our state authorities, including the police department, has taken utmost care to protect the interest of the downtrodden, the stranded, the migrant laborers. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you, Somsekhar.
Hope I'm satisfied with your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
One more question we can take. Who would ask the question? Just raise your hands if you would like. Yes.
Hi, Yashpal, thank you for the wonderful presentations, and also congratulations on wonderful presentations for Somsekhar. Yashpal, in your presentations, I heard somewhere, some point you were saying, don't just do exercise unless you have proper diet.
Yes.
And many people are doing the diet in order to lose weight. Is this statement contradict?
Sorry, come again. The last point I didn't have.
I mean, in order to be healthy, many people are abstaining to eat food and then trying to make themselves be satisfied with the day with food or a little bit of food intake that.
Yeah, I got your point. You are asking me, some people I ready to do that, but I will not do workout. Right?
Yep.
See, that is also fine. See, unless you keep moving, see, all these gyms, diet, miss workout, and all, it came this era. Okay, the olden days, our old ancestors used to do a lot of physical work. Okay, they never programmed the exercise. Okay, 1 hour I'll go. I'll do. Entire day they used to go to the river, wash the vessels, and come back. They go to the farmland, they dig the farmland, whatever the work they used to do, they used to do. But now, because of our whole sedentary lifestyle, we don't have moment anything you want the mobile. This lockdown has become so many people either they got full health benefit because people used to go outside and have a junk, they stopped. Last 3 months they were never have any junk outside. Okay, same thing. People used to go to the gym from last 3 months. They have stopped. They were like feeling very sedentary. They were gained the weight, and the people who used to eat outside, they lost the weight. It's very surprising. And a lot of people are messaging me that telling, sir, I lost 5 kgs. I don't know how I lost. I told them, you lost because you're not eating junk. Junks were not available from the market. That also, once they eased in the little bit of lockdown from last 10 days, they used to get these pizza, burgers, and others. They never used to get. The point number 1. The point number 2 is people who was not doing any workout and they're doing healthy diet is all fine. It's all fine. Just keep moving yourself. Don't be sedentary. And do some activities. Go walk. That's more than enough. Go for swimming, more than enough. Go for cycling, more than enough. Go in the terrace in the morning. Go do some Surya Namaskar, more than enough. You don't need to go hit the gym and do weight training. You don't need to go hit the gym and do something else. Zumba. Some activities, 15-20 minutes where you get some sweat. And proper dieting. Why? Because not to have toxins. I used one word there. There is no substitute for the toxins you had or you are having with any form of diet. You don't have the toxins. That's all I say.
I think that maybe it is time up. And splendid explanations. And then I would suggest that the whole of Karnataka should have been listening to both of you, because it is about how to take care of your health. So Yashpal, the wellness coach, and Somsekhar, the circle inspector, who is a disciplinary coach. So both of them were giving us instructions how to conduct our life. And maybe I invite Minlun to say the word of thanks and then conclude.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful presentations. So this evening,
thank you ECC to welcome us to and made us to host. It's a pleasant experience. So thank you, Father. Thank you, Minlun. Thank you, team. The good tech support in the lockdown.
Yes. So the way how Karnataka Police has been taking initiatives and steps to help the people, especially the migrant workers and people who are from the state, is wonderful. So on behalf of people, I'm from Northeast, from the the Northeast community, and the entire community who are not from Karnataka would like to thank the police department for these wonderful initiatives that you are taking to take care of the migrant workers and people who are coming here for work. So thank you so much. Shall we give them a big round of applause?
Thank you very much. ECC, my home, away from home. I have been loved to come here all the time, meeting with all the great, profound people. I am very blessed to be here all the time in company of such loud and beautiful people. And so adding one more to the point, so the state government has taken severe and important measure to shift the migrant people to their native districts and native states. It has been opened railway operations also, and KSRTC bus is also operating. So we can get in touch with the community where you can helpful to travel to your hometown safely. Okay. So stay safe, all of you. From my side, from the department, the government authorities, I hope everybody should stay safe, stay healthy, and please do follow all the regulations which have been very much in need of the hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Somsekhar and Yashpal, for this wonderful interaction. And then whenever you have time, you are most welcome to Ecumenical Christian Center, ECC, and then it is an easy access for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.